Alright, this is Lily Bond 1012, reading my first narrated creepypasta fanfiction. This is a Jeff the Killer love story. It's called Sweet Insanity. Chapter 1. The start of it all. Lacey's point of view. I wake up as always, 5:30. I can smell the bacon and eggs, just like every morning. I sit up in bed and think to myself, if I hurry I can grab some toast and miss Dad, and with that I jump up and grab the first pair of jeans and tank top I see and jump in the shower. By the time I'm ready, it's 5:40. Dad wakes up. In 20 minutes, I think to myself. I run down the stairs to our two-story house. I see Mom setting Father's outfit for the day. "Morning, Mom," she says to herself. "Morning, dear. You're up early. Trying to miss your father again?" she asked me. "No, Mom. Just can't be late again," I replied. She looked at me with doubt, and I grabbed some toast and kissed her on the cheek. And as I went to leave, "Be careful who you love, my child," she said, just like she would any other time. Dad was close by. "I will, Mom," I promised her. I walked to the road, looking back at my house, hoping Dad was in a good mood today. We lived in an upper-lower class house, not as nice as the suburban neighborhood on West Avenue. Nevertheless, I will get out one day and never look back. Oh well, some people just get the end of the shit into the stick. I got to the end of our block and turned into a small, almost invisible path. I figured I'd take the long way to school since Mary won't be on Main Street till 6. Mary's my best friend of 17 years. I can't remember a time without her. She has long brown hair and sweet yellow-green eyes, and is always telling me what to do, just like a sister. I figured the walk would give me time to think about this upcoming test. Boy, was it about to be bad. Finals are coming up, and I was nowhere near ready. Man, I really don't want Dad to find out if I fail. Me and Mom will be beat for sure, I said out loud. I stopped and picked some blueberries from a bush I found some time ago. As I was picking them, I felt like someone was watching me. Just one of you, standing behind a nearby tree, watching this long silver-haired girl, dark, almost black eyes as she moved, her blood-red lips as she eats the blueberries. I looked for any signs of makeup but couldn't find a trace. She was almost white as me, but with a hint of red where her blood flowed through, the blood would warm her body. And as I watched, as she inhales and exhales, I could hear her heartbeat through her breast. I could smell the blueberry-scented shampoo she used today. She must really like blueberries, I whispered. I licked my lips, wanting to feel her blood pour through my hands. I want to hear the heartbeat through her breast. At that moment, she picked up the phone. "Oh, shit," I can hear her say loud, and she runs off. I will have her tonight. I'm dying to kill someone right now, but I'll kill her slowly tonight, I say to myself. Lacey's point of view. As I run down the pathway, I worry that I'm going to be late again. If Father finds out, he'll beat me for sure. Seeing nothing comes in or out of the house without him knowing. Running as fast as I can to the end of the path, I see Mary, and I know I barely made it. I bend over, catching my breath. Mary laughs at me. "Are you trying to make the world record of cutting it close?" she teased me. I stand up straight, laughing. "No, not trying. It just works out that way sometimes," I say jokingly. Walk into school and she starts in on me, but not her normal, "You gotta stop cutting it close, or no skipping class today, Lacey." "Lacey, be careful on your way home today," she said, and I looked at her confused. "Why?" I asked. "There's a mass murderer on the loose. He's already killed 20 people here in town." Her father was a deputy in town. I knew she'd be the first to know. Please promise me please promise me you'd be careful, she begged. She has never once begged to me like this. I looked in her eyes and could see she was really worried. I promise, Mary, I said. Chapter 2. The Waiting. Jeff's point of view. I walked to someone's house, I don't know who, but the smell of blueberries was here, and I started thinking back to the girl I planned on killing tonight. How she seemed to love blueberries. I walked into the house and saw the mom. I walked up to her and slit her throat and then carved a smile into her face. It was perfect. After getting bored with the painting I'm working on, I leave the house. What to do, I asked myself. And I started walking and thinking about that girl, and I found myself standing outside her school, and I started watching her. Lacey's point of view. I'm outside in the gym. We were doing our 1 mile run today. Gym was always my favorite class and the only one I can pass. Stacy runs up to me. Lacey, wait up! I could hear her behind me, and I slow my pace to a light jog. Lacey, wow, you can run, she panted. Hey, Stacy, what's up? I giggled. Oh, this thing worries everyone. The big finals tomorrow, Stacy replied. Oh, crap, I'm dead. I slipped out my head. Oh, yeah, that's right. Your dad sets a higher standard than most dads do, doesn't he? She asked. Yeah, I replied. Well, I hope you're ready. He might kill you if you fail, she joked, and ran off. Though I was worried he might really kill me. My dad was abusive to both me and my mom. I had never had a boyfriend for more than a week because of him. He would scare everyone away, though he loved Mary. Well, more like Mary's dad. You see, Mary's and my dad were very close. They hunted together, they fished together, watched the games together, and he never once doubted how or why my mom kept getting bruises. Dad told him that she was really clumsy, bad balance, which was a lie, of course. I stopped to get a drink of water at the fountain, and I felt it again, like I'm being watched. I started to look around, and then I see it. No, wait, him. A boy in a white hoodie and black hair. I couldn't see any more before he vanished. I looked around again to see if anyone saw him, but they just wanted to drink the water. I walked away, feeling uneasy about it. I went into my next class. As I walked in, still thinking about what I saw, I heard the teacher talking to me. Well, Lacey, on time. And didn't have to be dragged in by Mary today, I see, she said, and I looked up to her, not really paying attention to her. Yes, ma'am. Then I sat down on my desk and opened my notebook. Then I felt it again, like I was being watched. I looked around and saw black hair in a window, and then I see his face. Round, black, ringed eyes, as if his eyelids had been burned off. White leather-looked skin, and a huge smile. I looked at his smile closer, and I see that it was carved in. Thinking to myself, he carved a smile into his face so that he would never stop smiling. I smiled at that, thinking how lucky he was. Then I saw him move as if he saw me smile, and it hurt him. I looked at him and mouthed, I'm sorry. Jeff's point of view. She smiled at me. Jeff's point of view. She smiled at me, and she looked at me and smiled. Why did she do that? I say to myself, walking into the woods to my hideout, which is at the time was an abandoned factory, where I think on my next kill. Who will it be? What do I feel like killing today? the screamer, the runner. But today all I can think about is how she smiled at me. She had the most sexy smile a woman could have. She must have seen some of the world's darkest corners to have smiled at me like that. I walked up the stairs to the 5th floor and found Ben sitting at his computer. "Who's next, Jeff?" he asked. Not listening, but talking to myself. She's so perfect, with her pale skin, almost white, and long silver hair, and that smile. I want to make it forever. I have to make it forever. I have to make it just like mine. I'll do it tonight, I will, I say to myself. Lacey's point of view. As I'm getting ready to leave the library, I decided to take the long way home so that I could think about what to do about the finals. I am really worried about it. I don't know why, though. It's like a feeling in my gut. I can't shake it. And all of a sudden, I'm knocked to the ground and flipped over. I could see the boy from earlier as his knife was coming down on me. Chapter 3. She's mine. Jeff's point of view. Wow, she has a sexy scream, I think to myself. I picture her cutting her forearm, licking the blood all the way up to her neck, tasting her sweat, wanting her to bleed so much more. I put the knife in my pocket, grabbing her wrist, pinning her to the wall. I could hear her heart beat so fast and smell the blueberries on her. And her almost black eyes seemed so scared. "Oh, what happened to that sweet smile you gave me today? I want it again. I want it forever," I tell her. She screams again, and I push myself closer, pulling out my knife and cutting her other forearm. I watched her bleed. I looked into her eyes. I see that she had given up, and now she was crying. Now I'm hurting. I don't know why I'm hurting to see her black eyes cry. I knock her out and put her down. I looked at the tears rolling down her cheek. I stitched her up and carried her to her house, where I sneaked her in and laid her in her bed. I watched her sleep. It was so sweet. I wanted to cut her again, but I couldn't watch her cry again. "I want your smile. It's mine forever," I whispered in her ear. Hold on, let me read that again. "I want your smile. It's mine forever," I whispered in her ear. I hear her crying down the stairs and make my way there to see her mother and father. I watch as he beat her mother over and over again. "You'll be sorry if she fails this test. Do you understand me, Lisa?" he yelled at her. "Yes," she stammered her reply. As a killer, Jeff knows when someone intends on killing someone. He left the house and looked back. "She is mine," was all he said. Lacey's point of view. "Lacey, wake up. Wake up, Lacey," I hear my father say. I sit up in my bed and looked at my father. "Yes, sir?" I asked in a small voice my mom uses to talk to father. "Get up and start studying," he demanded. "Yes, sir," I replied. I got up and got in the shower. As soon as I was about to turn off the shower, I hear my mom come in. "Leave it on, but come on out," she said, clearly trying to hide something from my dad. "What's wrong, Mom?" I asked her. "Just in case, my child. I love you so much. And wear this today. Please. And don't take your shoes off when you come home tonight. I don't know what will happen, my sweet child. I have to go," she said, and ran out the door. I looked at what she had handed me, a pair of dark jeans and black tank top with a black sweater, with matching boots and a jacket. I looked inside the bag and saw that all my school books had been replaced with canned goods, water, and water filters. My gut was right. There's something up today, and Mom can feel it. At 6, I leave for school. I see Mary waiting for me. She hands me a stack of index cards and tells me to start reading. I do, needing all the practice I can get. Whole school sitting at a assigned desk. Okay, now it's time for the final exam to begin, I hear a woman say. 5 hours later. As the test ends, I know I'll need to run for I know I have failed it. I walked out my class to see my mom and dad. My mom looks very worried. How did you do on your test today, Lacey? My dad asked. Very well. Well, I don't know, Daddy, I answered. Well, let's go get some lunch while we wait, he says, and walked off. I looked at Mom. She was asking me with the look. I shook my head to tell her the bad news. She looked like she was going to cry. You won't believe what I bought today, Lacey, he told me. What'd you get, Daddy? I asked. A camera to make a home video. Tonight. He replied. Sounds great, Daddy, I said. He looked at me with a look I knew all too well. I hope so, sweetheart. We ate lunch and sat in quiet as we waited for the scores. The scores are now up to be seen, I heard a lady called out. We walked and waited in line. When it was our turn, I saw how bad it was. I only made the top 500 and failed. Well, let's go home. What's up? Okay. Well, let's go home. What a letdown. We went home and I was told to go to my room. I could hear Mom crying and I knew I was next. And when the crying stopped, Lacey, come down here now, he bellowed. And I went downstairs and found my mom dead on the floor. I ran to her. Mommy, I yelled. And then I felt a sharp pain in my back and fell to the floor. Today my wife betrayed me, and my child has failed me. I look over to see him streaming this live to the internet. Today they both die. I watched him set up the camera and come to me and started beating me with his hand. I cried in pain when all of a sudden the door busted open and he came in, the guy who tried to kill me. I watched as he stabbed my father over and over again, dragging him across the room. He turned to me, bent down, and looked at me, and I blacked out. Well, that's the end of chapter 3. This is my own story. I did write this. As soon as I write chapter 4, 5, and 6, then I will post them on YouTube. And I'm sorry about that interruption earlier. I hope you can't hear it. Well, till next time.